Have you ever felt the invisible strings of a puppet master? You know the feeling. The subtle guilt trips, the twisted words that make you question your own memory. The emotional chess game you never signed up to play, but are somehow losing. It's exhausting, isn't it? Being the pawn in someone else's game. But what if I told you that the moment you spot the strings, you can cut them? What if the very tactics they use to control you could be turned into your ultimate shield? We aren't just talking about ignoring them, we're talking about a psychological shift so profound, it changes the power dynamic instantly. Today, we're diving into the forbidden playbook of Niccolo Machiavelli. We're going to explore 7 psychological strategies that don't just stop manipulation, they reverse it. By the end of this, you won't just be free, you'll be untouchable. The game is about to change. Are you ready to take back control? Let's start with a scenario you've likely lived through. You're in a conversation and suddenly you feel the heat rising. Someone is pushing your buttons, maybe criticizing you or demanding an immediate answer. Your instinct is to defend yourself, to explain, to react. That is exactly what they want. They are feeding on your emotional energy. This brings us to the first strategy, the emotion vacuum. Imagine a storm crashing against a cliff. The storm screams and rages, but the cliff does nothing. It just stands there. When a manipulator tries to provoke you, they expect a storm back. They want your anger, your tears, or your desperate need to please. Instead, give them nothing. Become a black hole for their chaos. When they drop a snarky comment, look them in the eye and say nothing. Let the silence stretch out. Watch how uncomfortable they become. You see, silence is a mirror. When you don't react, they're forced to sit with their own behavior. You aren't fighting them, you are starving them. But what happens when they try to twist your reality? When they say, "I never said that," or "You're too sensitive." This is gaslighting, and it's a favorite tool of the dark triad types. To counter this, we use the mirror defense. Think of a time someone tried to make you feel guilty for a mistake you didn't make. Instead of internalizing that guilt, you hold up a psychological mirror. You simply repeat their words back to them, calmly, as a question. So you're saying that because I didn't answer your call immediately, I don't care about our relationship? By stripping away the emotional charge and stating the facts, you expose the absurdity of their claim. You aren't accusing them, you're just letting them hear how ridiculous they sound. It forces them to either double down on a lie or backpedal, and usually they backpedal. Now let's go deeper. The first 2 tactics were about defense. Now we move into the subtle art of regaining control. Have you ever noticed how manipulators often demand an answer right now? They create a false sense of urgency. I need to know by tonight, or if you don't decide now, the offer is gone. They do this because they know that under pressure, you make decisions that benefit them, not you. This is where you deploy strategic delay. It's the simplest, most powerful phrase in the English language. I'll think about it. That's it. No explanation, no apologies. Just, I'll think about it. Watch their panic. You have just halted their momentum. You have stepped out of their time frame and into yours. By refusing to be rushed, you signal that you are the authority in your own life. You're telling them that your time is more valuable than their urgency. As we move through these layers, you might realize something disturbing. Many of these manipulators aren't strangers. They're friends, partners, colleagues, people who feel entitled to your validation. This leads to a twist in our understanding of power. Reward reversal. We are conditioned to be nice, to smile when someone walks in, to nod when they speak, to validate their existence. Manipulators rely on this social contract. They treat you poorly, yet they expect you to still be polite. Stop. Machiavelli would argue that rewards should only be given for loyalty and respect. If someone is disrespectful, why are you rewarding them with your attention? When they act out, withdraw your warmth. Don't be mean, be cold. Be indifferent. When they eventually behave correctly, when they treat you with the basic human decency you deserve, that is when you bring the warmth back. You are retraining them, much like you would train a bad habit out of a subconscious mind. You teach them that your validation is not a right, it is earned. But here's the deeper realization, the one that truly shifts the board. The most dangerous thing you can do to a manipulator is to become predictable. If they know what makes you tick, they own you. If they know your buttons, they will press them. So you must wear ambiguity armor. Be vague, be mysterious, stop oversharing every thought, fear, and plan. When they ask what you're up to, give a non-committal answer. Just working on some things. I have a few plans. When they can't read you, they can't maneuver you. The unknown is terrifying to a control freak. By keeping your cards close to your chest, you become a puzzle they cannot solve. And a puzzle they can't solve is a person they cannot control. This leads us to the ultimate power move, the one that requires the least effort but delivers the highest impact. It is the art of playing dumb. We all want to be seen as smart. We want to correct people when they're wrong. We want to show we know the truth. Manipulators use this ego against you. They will bait you into arguments just to see you dance. But what if you didn't? What if you knew exactly what they were doing, knew they were lying, knew they were trying to trick you, and you just smiled and nodded? Oh, really? I didn't know that. Wow. This is strategic incompetence. By playing dumb, you lower their guard. They think they have fooled you. They get cocky. They reveal more than they intended. Meanwhile, you are gathering information. You are watching their game from the sidelines, completely detached. You aren't the victim. You are the spy. And finally, if all else fails, you must be willing to use the nuclear option. The one thing every manipulator fears more than anything else, the exit threat. Not a bluff, a real, tangible willingness to walk away. The foundation of all manipulation is the belief that you need them, that you are afraid to lose them. But the moment you show that you are perfectly capable of existing without them, that you are willing to pack your bags, sign the papers, or leave the job, their power evaporates. You don't even have to say it. It's an energy. It's the confidence of someone who knows their own value. When you are no longer afraid of the end, you are free. So, take a breath. Look at the relationships in your life. Do you see the strings? You don't have to be a bad person to be strong. You don't have to be cruel to be powerful. You just have to be awake. Machiavelli didn't write his strategies for villains. He wrote them for survivors, for those who needed to navigate a world full of traps. Use these tools wisely, not to harm, but to protect, not to control, but to ensure you are never controlled again. Because the most powerful person in the room isn't the one shouting commands. It's the one who sees the game, knows the moves, and chooses when to play and when simply to walk away. Stay sharp. Stay flicking.